Hello and welcome everybody to our second Q&A for today or tomorrow or whatever day you might
Yesterday.
yesterday, today, tomorrow. Yeah, it's probably tomorrow for some Aussies if they're still up in the middle of the night. Welcome. We have Morag. Is that the right way to pronounce your name?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Morag with us from the UK. So we've just spoken to people from India. We're now speaking to people from the UK. It is amazing what we can bring in and what we can do. So
Yeah.
thank you for joining us live. If you're listening to the replay, we will all be back to catch your messages if we can. So we're really excited to have brought so many people from all over the world to you guys. So we're starting with some easy questions just to let people get to know you a little bit. Marek, where are you from? We said the UK, but where are you in the UK?
So I live in a place called Solihull, which is in the centre of the country near Birmingham. It is the biggest city. So if you've been to the UK, I like to tell people, tourists especially, that we live near Stratford-on-Avon, which is Shakespeare country. So they've heard of that.
I have been there. Yes, they heard of that.
Have you?
I have. My sister-in-law was born in is from Orpington, Kent, and my mom was born in England, but she only lived there 6 months, so we really don't have a lot of. But she was born in Bedford, England, which is kind of center as well. So
yeah.
Excellent. The next question we've been asking everybody is, how did you get into scrapbooking, paper crafting world? How did that start for you?
It was 18 years ago because my daughter was one at the time, and we were doing renovations on our house at the time. So she's a little toddler. I've got an older son, and we were confined to our bedroom because they were ripping apart the downstairs of the house. And I had a catalogue come through, like a sales catalogue come through, and it had got this thing in the middle about crafting, about scrapbooking. I've never heard of it. But I was looking through and I thought, oh, that looks really fascinating. And the next day, I Googled, or whatever it was at the time, shops. And there was one in my local area. So I went shopping, bought something, made a scrapbook page the next day. I was hooked. So from that very first thing, it was like, this has been the perfect craft for me because I can't draw. I'm not very good at sewing, and it's just cutting and sticking, and it's just fabulous.
That's awesome, though. That's great, because everyone comes to it from a different way. So it's always interesting to learn how, some people were taught by their grandmothers, other people it was a life situation. Yours was being locked in a room. There you go.
Yeah.
Isolated in the room.
Yeah, in the UK, I don't think it was very, I've never heard of it before. And it was just purely having made that first page. It was just something you could just do without any skills whatsoever. So, from your first scrapbook page, you get a photo, you had a bit of paper, and you've made something, and you're thinking, wow, this is just, anybody could do this, isn't it? And I think that's the beauty of scrapbooking. I think it's something you've treasured memories, and that you can put it on a page with no skill and, have a good time cutting, sticking.
It's awesome. Then last question we ask everybody is scrapbooking, card making, or both?
99% scrapbooking. But I make some cards. I always try and make a card for friends and for family. So it takes me as long normally to make a card as it does the whole scrapbook page. And I'm the world's slowest scrapbooker anyway. Maybe apart from you, Tracy, you said that you're slow. But yeah, I'm just really slow. But
everybody takes their time.
Yeah, I love the process, so I'm in no rush. You'll see behind me, look, that's just one pile of about 15 piles of scrapbook layouts. I don't need loads more.
And that's good though, because that's the beauty of art, right? Is doing things at your own pace. Or I've shared before in other videos, I do color painting, color pencil drawing, and I do them fast. And I've been in classes where other people spend an hour or 2 hours on this, and I'm like, done. And I'm quicker at it. And maybe mine doesn't have the same depth as theirs, but I don't have the patience to do them slowly.
It's what for you, isn't it? I think it's just what you enjoy. And I admire anyone who can draw, by the way, because
you know what? I'm going to give you a little tip from my art teacher. Anybody can draw, but here's a tip: draw upside down. The reason is that we're looking, because drawing is just shapes. It's just circles and triangles and squares and stuff like that. But when you turn it upside down, your brain's no longer looking at the image. It's looking at the shapes. So the first time I drew a glass of water, you think, how am I ever going to be able to draw a glass of water? Right? How am I ever going to be able to get water? But when you turn it upside down, a glass of water in a picture is just shapes. And the shapes are slightly different color. So turning it upside down can really get rid of the mind that I can't draw. And then you're drawing the shapes.
Yeah. No chance.
Tracy, let me rephrase this.
I'm kidding.
What I was going to say is, I have my box of cookies. This is what's been keeping me going. Not turn what you're drawing upside down. Turn this upside down.
Right.
Turn your reference photo upside down, because then you're drawing the shape and the colors, not the what you think it is. And a cookie's not a great example. But that was use a better example. So if you try this upside down, that's my mom in her joy. You stop looking at the pictures and you start looking at the shape, like her head is a circle and her shoulders. So you trick the brain into look at the shapes, not the image.
But then do you actually start drawing from that, or you just turn it back again?
No, you just keep drawing from this. Keep drawing from this. The first one my art teacher taught me, it was this ugly turkey's head, which is pretty ugly if you've ever looked at a turkey's head. But when you draw upside down, you start looking at the individual shapes. And so that if for any ladies who want to draw, we're not on your artwork, you start looking at the head is smaller than the body. Like we lose the reference of our brain, and that really, really helps you draw better. That's how I learned, because I never thought I could draw either. I said I could never draw. I'm never going to be able to do this. And that was the real trick for me.
I've never heard of that before.
You're going to have to try that, eh?
Yeah, so I'm going to test you now, Tracy.
Turn it upside down. Take something that's simple, like an animal, turn it upside down and draw the shapes. Because the first time I drew, and I don't even know where my pictures are, the first time I drew a rose in a clear teacup, I thought, how am I ever going to get the reflections and all that? But you start looking at the shapes. And that's not what we're here to talk about today. But there's
well, maybe we should all start scrapbooking upside down. That's a challenge. We're going to do a layout. Oh, yeah, you wait. See, Heather?
Yes. Somebody said there's hope for my drawing now, only if I could train my brain to do things upside down. Absolutely. But scrapbooking upside down would be cool, too, because you end up creating something that you don't see, right? You're not fixed on the perfection of it, is where it comes from as well.
Right, I'm going to try that.
Works. It really does work. It's like, I never did finish the ugly turkey's head, by the way, because it was really ugly. And I'm like, other people, our teacher gave us these different pictures, and everybody else had a nice picture, and I got the turkey's head. And I'm like, I don't really want to do my turkey's head. So it is still
you have to have a connection with the thing that you're working with. It's same with your scrapbook layouts, isn't it? That you've got that connection. I think it just flows much better.
My turkey head is still unfinished in my portfolio. But I still have it. I didn't throw out my turkey head. So back to scrapbooking. On that's aside for those who want to know how to draw and learn how to draw, because anybody can draw. That was the comment that she had for me, and I thought I could never draw. And I've actually done portraits, which is like, it's like, no way am I ever going to be able to do a portrait, and I've done portraits. So dentistry is all done upside down. Very good point. And backwards when you're treating a patient. I guess that's true. It's all good.
Very interesting. Okay.
Tricking
the brain. It tricks the brain. Share a bit about the project that you did, Morag. That would be.
Oh, right. Yes. So I get a little bit obsessed with, pockets and journaling for scrapbooking. I tend to, over the years, I think I've kind of moved towards more the process to me, because I really like the cutting, the sticking, and the mixed media or whatever. And then I forget my journaling. So I do like a pocket, so that you could tuck in, something about the event. And what I did for this particular tutorial is I did make a card. So I told you I don't make cards, but I did make a card. And what we will do is we're going to create this pocket here. So it's a really simple pocket, actually. And I make it from an envelope. And the idea is you could take any envelope size. So you could take a bigger envelope if you needed to tuck in a photo or some bigger journaling. I've used this one for a gift card, so it's actually, I think it was a 6x4 envelope I used. And then you can decorate it in whichever way you like, but I've used pattern paper on this one. But just to give you some other, because that was quite simple, I actually used a stencil to make the background. And so on my video, I show you how to blend the inks so you get this lovely ombre effect. Is that the right word? Actually, it might not be ombre, but it goes from greens to blue in my case.
Ombre is the right word for that.
Yeah, because I thought ombre was just one colour, but you know what I mean. So I don't know if you can see that more clearly. And what my company does is we make the laser cut designs to go on top. Perfect. So it is a bit shiny and sparkly because it was a birthday card. But we do these designs. But obviously, if you don't have our things, you could put a sentiment on there, a stamped sentiment or a sticker. So that's the actual project that we'll make. So an easy one to start with. And so I'll go through with you how I do the background. But I obviously, because we're scrapbooking, how would you translate that to a scrapbook page? And I've got some free gifts. We've all given some extra free gifts apart from the tutorials, and this is one of mine. So I've got 2 classes, but I've used that pocket here. Look, so bear with me. I've got it stuck now. There we go. So again, I've used the same pocket, decorated the background, and then just added some stickers and paper here to the foreground here, and then you can put some your tag in my case. And in this class then I've also done another pocket here, so I think there's another tag down here somewhere, but you can put extra photos or more journaling, so really entirely up to you. But so that'd be the free class. If you I think there's a button below my my tutorial where you can go and sign up for the free classes. I've got 2 free classes.
I think that's in the VIP, isn't it? Well, we'll figure that one out.
And then no. So I've got some free for everybody. So there's 2 classes for everybody, and then the VIP, I've got some different classes as well. So if you're VIP, you end up with 5 classes altogether.
Okay,
6 classes. Lost count. So there's 2 free ones for everybody, and the VIP have access to another 4 classes as well.
Okay, so we got to fix that on our site because we don't have that, but we will fix that afterwards. We will fix that. Okay. No, Tracy, we'll figure that one out for people. So I
can leave a link, I guess.
Yeah, we will put it on the site. I use the idea in your presentation of using an actual envelope. I love the idea. Yeah. Sorry, let's put this here and make that better. I love the idea in your presentation of using an actual envelope you received in the mail from someone as the envelope on your scrapbooking page, which is a great reuse.
And I think at Christmas, and I've not included it in my video particularly, but you know, at Christmas you get beautiful cards sometimes for birthdays, and they're kind of decorated and they've got, you know, pretty colours or, you know, a pattern. Those would be fantastic to reuse those for this. I just think it just adds that little bit of extra interaction, and I don't know, just really connects you with you know, receiving that card or that letter, and you're kind of preserving it in a way as well.
Well, the pocket idea in your scrapbook page is kind of cool. If you couldn't decide which pictures you wanted to use, you could keep the pictures in the pocket, which is awesome.
That, or you put the picture on the top, and then inside the pocket you've got the brochure.
Yes, right? That's right. So that was my VIP gift. So am I allowed to show that? Or
sorry, I didn't even do that. Just to me, I'm like,
you can show it. We have VIPs here. We have VIPs.
Yes, VIPs.
So that was my VIP gift. Sorry. So quite a different scrapbook page. No, that's fine.
Beautiful.
So again, I'll show you some extra pockets. So that was, I'll show you how to do the extra pockets on a page. And then I love a big pocket as well. So I quite often will put something huge. So because you've always got loads of photos, and you know, the people that I teach often say, oh, I'd like to include more photos on the layout. So here's that other pocket here. So same pocket again with an envelope, and you can just tuck in, you know, your ephemera, or in this case, it was from the hotel. And then one other example, I'm doing.
Because it's a fun gift if you gave someone a page like that of pockets and pockets and pockets. It's very cool and layered, and it creates curiosity. So what a cool gift.
Yeah, and I just think, as I say, you know, you always have, if you're doing a holiday especially, you take so many photos, and I personally don't want 50 pages for one holiday because I've got too many scrapbook pages. So it's nice to include those extra photos on, you know, a scrapbook page, I think.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. You're going to show another one you had?
I'm doing a travel journal. So one of the other things, I just like to, you know, like sometimes you just want to do something different. So this one's a book. It was an old atlas. I haven't finished it, by the way. So you can see, I'm just trying to find some pages. But it was just an old atlas with maps in. And I do love old things. But so one of my spreads I'll be making, I've made the same pocket again. But you can use the side to store in the side, and then you can, you know, attach your ephemera here. So for scrapbooking, I think it just adds that, you know, cute interaction, as you say, that to, you know, to store all your bits and pieces in.
Is that an old atlas you said?
That's what I was saying. I'm like,
yeah,
what a neat idea.
That is such a cool idea. So it's an old
Yeah.
atlas that you could probably pick up anywhere now, like in a, yeah, what a cool idea.
Well, I love old things. You like old things. I like cameras and photo, you know, typewriter, anything old.
What a cool idea.
Yeah, so it's just normal, just a normal atlas. At the back, it's a bit ugly in this one. Hang on, because it's all the index pages in the back. Yeah. But you can just put pattern paper over those to make it look a bit more attractive. But in the front, I've just you know, made a mixture really of different things. Kept some of the pages. So this one is my trip to Rome, but I've actually kept the page for Italy. So it's a really good idea to, think out of the box.
That's excellent.
Here somebody wrote this, it's like those children books where you keep opening surprises. I think that's true. I love it. Someone else said, I love the idea of the atlas, which is a great use of reusing something, and great idea. So another one is it's a great idea to use an atlas as a travel journal. What an awesome idea.
Thank you. I haven't finished it though.
You know, for the people who have had the opportunity to travel, it's kind of, I mean, I have a lot of boxes of stuff from different countries. So what a cool way to do and to use it. So someone else said they love using old books. There you go. New ideas for people. I use a roadmap booklet for the area I went to. Yeah.
So that's a really good idea. Well, because at the moment, because we're in the UK, it's not too far for us to travel to a dozen different countries. So that maybe within 2 or 3 hours flight, we can get to Italy, France. You know, so my hubby and I have decided that we're going to try and do some traveling. You know, just short breaks and things. So I've got a list.
Yes, I envy that. My nephew got married in Spain last Sunday. I obviously wasn't there because I was doing this, but it was just too much to travel to Spain. You can't for a weekend to go to Spain. No. But his uncle lives in the UK, so he was able to just pop down to
it. So we went to Barcelona. It was our last trip, so it's only 2 hours on the plane for us. So
exactly,
it's just fantastic to have that opportunity.
It was my older brother was able to go, and obviously his father went. But it was like, I would love to go, but it's just not feasible. I've got this thing that we planned, so it wasn't feasible. A question: does a viewfinder insert have actual travel photos in it?
No, this is an actual view. I saw that class and I was like, I need to do that class because this is an actual viewfinder, you know, the original ones. Okay. So I don't know, it's like, I like old things, as I mentioned, and so I've been collecting them over the years, and so I don't know what's on that one, to be honest. I covered it up, but it'd be really good, but they'd be really, really tiny photos.
Someone says they've been trying to figure out how to scrap the Grand Canyon. So there you go, get a storybook on it and find an old book on it would be really cool.
I'm sure there is. I think some of mine are really dull. I think when I've looked at them, I've actually got the viewfinder to look, through, and I think one of them was about caves and things like that.
Hey, it's fun. I like how some of the elements hang off the page. Can you use these in place of a tab divider?
Oh, that's a good idea. Yes, like for the journal, I did. One thing I did find with this particular one is it sticks out too much, so I put it in my on my shelf, and I bent it because it sticks out too much. But yeah, it's a really good idea to add some, bits poking out. I do tend to, on my scrapbook pages, add sort of tabs just to decoration, and I like things to poke out when I can.
Well, that's kind of the cool thing about scrapbooking, right? Is that it's not flat. You have the choice of poking out. You're not stuck on. You don't have to be. I shouldn't say you aren't. You don't have to be stuck on the actual constraints of the paper.
Yeah, definitely right.
Excellent.
And everybody I find is so different. Some people want it flat. Others, I'd be like you because I like my chipboard, my metal pieces. It's gonna pop up. But yeah, it's again, everybody's different, and as long as it looks good, it's great. I'm curious if I may ask, because I know people are going to ask me when they see this. So, what did you use adhesive wise for either to cover the outside of the atlas? We're really curious about this atlas. Sorry,
yeah. I should have done that one, really.
Do another course and just charge us all.
Yeah, we'll just do. Yeah, no, we'll just do another one. I do want. It was just something I did as a bit of a whim, to be honest with you. I had the idea. I bought the atlas. I use the pages from the atlas anyway on scrapbook pages, but mostly I use. It's called Nouveau Deluxe Glue. Okay. So the products we make are acrylic or chipboard, but I've used the same glue on this metal. What are those, book plates? As well as some of our items and the chipboard, and I just find with that Nouveau adhesive, it's fantastic. It's just you've got a lot of open time, so you can move things around. Once you've pressed it firmly and it's gone off, it just really does stick everything. So I've kind of converted to that recently.
Yeah. Okay. So sorry, I'm going to now go back to the products that you make.
Yeah, that's where I was going. So there you go.
Yeah.
Go.
Oh yes. Well, So tell us a bit more about that, if you don't mind.
That's perfect. I think most people, we get so passionate about our hobby. So it was about 6 years ago, I think, 6 years ago actually, that I had the idea to do some laser cutting and laser cut acrylic. Because at the time in the scrapbook industry, there's a lot of wooden embellishments or chipboard, but there wasn't anything acrylic. So I kind of had this whim, and then about a week later, I managed to find somebody who does laser cutting. So I did these designs, and then, literally I created Bramble Fox within about a month. And then just, I think over the years, I think, so I create these elements here. I don't know if that comes out the right way. It's probably out backwards, isn't it? But I think over the years, I think the designs have definitely changed and probably got more elaborate. I do etching, I do different products now as well as stencils. So that's one of my stencils here. And I just love it. And it's just because I'm absolutely obsessed about scrapbooking. So if I've been somewhere, I'm like, oh yeah, I can make an embellishment for that. But if I haven't been somewhere, it's a bit more difficult. So this one, for example, says Treasured Memories, the little Eiffel Tower. I say I think they just add such a unique element to a page, and to me now, I just like to finish off a page with an acrylic design because they just have such great texture. So yeah, I really love those.
Do you design them yourself, or do you work with designers, or how do you? Because we've been asking, because it's neat. I think it's really important for people to know how stuff is manufactured, how the ideas come about.
Yeah, so I do. So I can't draw, as I've mentioned, but on a computer it's a different ball game because a lot of the things are titles anyway. So that to me, is something within my gift that I can do quite easily. So because I've done it for so long, when I'm making any words, it depends on the design. I'm just trying to think if I've got something to hand. You really have to consider how will the laser manage it. But I think over the years I've kind of developed a keen eye to say, well, that's going to be too thin, I've got to adjust it here. So you could make your title and then consider how it needs to be joined together. What will that look like on a page? What size should it be? And the same with a stencil, really, because the laser's basically melting through the plastic. So you've really got to think about, how's that going to react? Is it going to be sturdy enough for the customer? Is it, going to be usable enough? But yeah, I'll do it all here. So I've designed that on my computer, and then I started off with a laser in my garage. So I've got this big laser thing in my garage at home, and so I do all the cutting there. And then 2 years ago, we've kind of expanded. So we've now got an office where we've got another laser machine. So we've got 2 locations effectively, but it's all a bit homespun.
That's really interesting to know, right? People, like, what I love is that, like, we were talking to 2 ladies in India beforehand, in the 9 o'clock one, and it's women helping women do businesses, right? So you're running out of your garage, and that's an amazing way to start a business, right? And I think it helps people appreciate what they're using more, because you're not manufacturing this mass manufacturing. You're doing something very heartfelt, and you're doing something very unique. And then so when they use it in their albums, and it also helps them. We've been saying this a lot. Tracy's been saying this a lot. If you want something that you see on her site, go talk to your local store so that the local store can contact her, and then you create a really wonderful supply chain for everybody.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, we do have customers all over the world. And I think especially when I started, you couldn't get it anywhere else. And then, so I've shipped all over the world, and I hate paying for shipping, so I try and keep shipping as low as I can. And I consider, it's cheaper to ship a small thin box than a parcel. So I'm mindful of the things that I produce will fit in small boxes. So we do ship all over the world. And I don't know, it's just such a thrill still after all this time when you scroll through Instagram and you see one of your pieces. Think, oh, I made that.
And that's cool too. So if ladies, if you've used any of her pieces, let her know, right?
Yeah,
that's
so
the cool part.
Yeah. So you could go on the website, and I've got a discount code for everybody anyway, and the VIPs get slightly bigger discount. But it would thrill me so much to see new customers, and just, I don't know, people using it and discovering what we do, because I don't know how you advertise, and so it's really difficult to reach new people. I think that's what's been brilliant about this, is so many new faces and names that I've never heard of, and it's just great to connect with new people, isn't it?
It is. It's great to bring a community of people together, and people have come together, get to know what people do, right? It's we attach ourselves so much more to things when we actually understand what people do, and we see the face behind the business. And I'm sure, I don't know if Tracy knew that you made it in your garage, so there you go. Right?
No, I didn't know where it was made, like it's in the garage. But maybe
it's mainly made in the office now.
Maybe we're going to make you need a bigger garage soon, right?
Well, that's it
Don't
too.
say that, my hubby won't be pleased.
Well,
I think he wants his garage back.
So absolutely support the small business, keep them closely connected to people. Yeah, it does. It really does. And that's great. Sorry, I'm late. No worries about being late. Someone mentioned they haven't received the email for this morning. It went out 22 minutes ago. And Melody, I did check. It has been sent to you, so you just got to go check. Sometimes these emails, because they have so many links in them, can either end up in your promotion folder, if you're on Google, your update folder, or in spam. This is just, we can't control what your USP, which is your email provider, does to our emails. We try our best, but it's always a balance between giving you all the links so it's easy access and not ending up in spam folders because there's so many links. So if you have received it, Melody, it's there. I can see that it was sent to you. Go looking, it's there. And sometimes we hit send at 10 a.m. It's sending 9,000 emails. So it's like yeah. There's 9,000 people registered for the summit. So it takes a little bit of time to check out those 9,000 emails.
The little mouse is running as fast as it can.
Exactly. The little mouse is running and going and trying to get the emails out, but it has been set up. And if you have an email from yesterday, just click on the welcome page. There you can access all the videos from the welcome page. So if anybody's having any challenges, you don't need to wait to find the email. You can go to the welcome page, go down to day 3. What day are we on? Day 3. And you can click and watch from there.
So yeah, I saved it to my favorites, I think, the first day, just so, because I always lose things. So
yes, and so we do need to fix up your coupon on that, and we will. So we'll just work with you. Tracy can work with you, and we'll figure out which one's which. But yes, so enjoy looking at it and seeing what's there. And what's your favorite? I have a question for you. You sent it 10, but the live is listed for 10. No chance to see. We understand that the live is listed for 10, but we have people from all over the world, Helen. So that's why we have to accommodate people's time zones when they're coming. Morag is in the UK. Our presentation earlier today was in India. And people, we're doing our best. We have lives in that. You can come back and make comments after you've watched the video. We'll be here. People will be looking at it. So absolutely.
I'm happy to answer any questions if there's anything we've missed today. So
absolutely, you can do questions. We haven't even posted the Q&A posts in the group yet. We're going to do that as soon as we get off this call. What's the most unique thing you've seen your product used on?
Oh gosh, you could have primed me with that one first.
That just came into my head. But what have you seen online that you thought, oh, that's really cool, when you see it on someone's thing? If you don't have an answer, that's okay too.
Do you know, so I've got a great design team, and most of them have been with us for maybe 3-4 years, and some from the start. So one of my friends is actually on my design team as well, Julie Taylor. She is amazing at mixed media, and she created for me, it's in my office actually, we all went to New York. How long ago was that? Maybe 7 years ago. And she made me this frame with lots of ephemera, and she's just very artistic. But then she's used some of my, I call them perspectives, my acrylic designs. So she's put them on there, and it just looks amazing when it's, when you see it on the wall or, on the front of the cover. But yeah, the very first talks are quite sturdy. I have seen them on, lots of different, wall hangings and so on as well. So I think that's probably the best things I can think of.
No, that's good though, because it's kind of fun to, it must be really satisfying and just exciting to see people using your product and seeing how they may use it in a way that you don't think about it.
Yeah, definitely. And I say, I think it's just, I get so excited when I've got a new design, and I have to go and prototype it first, and I'm watching the laser just go round and thinking, oh, I can't wait to see it, and it's just like Christmas really, because I'm still as excited about it from when I started, sort of 6 years ago. You still get a real buzz from it.
And that's good. We want to get a buzz from a business. If someone said they made a pocket from a card from the core of a toilet paper roll, covered it with part of a page.
Oh, clever, yeah.
Page,
that's a really good idea.
Book. Turned out to be really nice. That's a cool idea. That's cool.
It's nice to reuse things, isn't it? I've made projects, like with cereal cartons, or just because you wanted that, that textural, like a book cover. And I think it's just nice to reuse things.
Absolutely. And I think your idea of reusing books, it's so sad to see books not being appreciated in the same way. So
Yeah,
reusing
definitely.
books and turning them into a piece of art is a really cool, a memory and a piece of art all at once is a great way. I feel, there's so many books that we don't do anything with, or and a younger generation who doesn't even know what books are sometimes.
I do feel bad sometimes. I buy a book and I think, oh, can I really, reuse that? But I think I bought a really huge atlas at a flea market. It was absolutely huge. And I felt bad about it because I wanted to use the pages at this atlas. It's got beautiful paper in it, beautiful map illustrations. And I said to my and I can't really bring myself to take the pages out. But he said, well, what would happen to that book if you hadn't have bought it? It'll probably just gather dust, disintegrate and, be unloved anyway. So I do think you can give things a new life.
And that's cool. And that's what you're absolutely right. Upcycling, as they like to call it now, is the new trendy turn. It is really, really popular. How can we use stuff in different ways? And how can we stop it from going into a landfill, really? Which is great. We have great idea that would make the pocket stronger. Toilet paper corners are great in mini albums. There you go.
I think I've made something like that before. Or I've used, what else have I used? I used to make little albums out of, I think I've made it, the Starbucks cup holder things.
Yeah.
Like the
paper sleeve, the warming sleeve things, whatever they're called. The little protect your hands from burning sleeves.
I don't know why, because I've got tons and heaps of paper and can't stop it.
But yeah, no, it's fun to reuse and do stuff. So that's awesome. I use toilet paper rolls for gift cards for birthdays and Christmases to the grandkids. There you go. So yes, reuse is kind of cool.
Yeah, you can use an envelope now.
You can use anything if you think about it. And that's the cool part about what you guys do, using your imagination. If you looked around my office, there's a ton of paper around here. Reusing it and not putting it in landfill and doing something cool. It's excellent. So any other questions for us? Yeah, go ahead, Tracy.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Is a lot of your product are the acrylics, right?
Yes, thank you.
So I'm just curious, obviously. I'm curious why you chose acrylic as opposed to chipboard or anything like that. And then I'm also want to know, because people will ask, the best adhesive for that so it doesn't show through some of the colors.
I chose acrylic because it comes in pretty colours. That I think we have maybe 30 different colours and finishes. So that mirror. I mean, look how shiny, and I just get excited about the pretty colours. So that's really why I started with acrylic, because as I say, in the UK at least at the time, people were just using, cutting out wood, and they're quite basic designs. So that's why I chose acrylic. The majority of the acrylic that we use is opaque. So this is actual mirror. So actually, I've seen this acrylic used as mirrors, as on shop signs and things like that. So the glue wouldn't show through. I do have transparent ones as well. So there you do need a clear glue. And I think for me, the best glue is that Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. It goes on white, but it does dry clear, and it's super strong. Glossy accents, and I think there's a 3M, I can't remember what it's called now, adhesive that will stick anything. And the other one that I used to use, which I've still got a bit of, is I'm trying to think of the name of it now. I've stopped using it, but it was too stringy.
Not trying to stump you. I was just asking you.
You didn't say don't use, so that's good. Yeah.
It's my age. I keep forgetting things.
We all do.
Oh, but anyway, I think it's just as long as you've got a glue that would stick plastic down, then it'd be perfect for the acrylics. But as I say, my favourite one currently is the Nouveau adhesive, deluxe adhesive. And it's super strong as well. So on that book cover, I don't worry about it falling back off because, once it's down, it's stuck.
That makes sense. Excellent.
Okay.
Someone said, now when I get cards, I will save the envelopes for pockets. So there you go. You've inspired
Yeah,
me. Did you have another comment?
No other question?
No, those are the two. I was curious with the acrylic versus, the chipboard, and then the adhesive. Go for it. I'm curious if anybody's done her card or anything yet and has any questions about that, or
Well, they just got it, so there we go. We don't have much. The VIPs may have done it.
well, yeah, that's did the VIP do it, or
as I mentioned, we'll sort out the links in case they've not been sort of shared. So I think that's the video, the tutorial that's on the Summit website. So I'll show you step by step through that. But there should be another link that we'll sort out if it's not sorted out, where we do it the same thing for a scrapbook page, just in case you're here late. So we'll do that. That's a free class also for everybody. And there's a second free class, which is completely different actually. And this we're using old book paper. So I've got some old books. I've just ripped that out to add to the background. I'm just using found objects really to decorate this page. So you can see there, look, there's a ring pull from a drinks can. I've used a lid for, to make these coffee ring shapes. What else did I put on there? Yeah, so just more book pages here. So that would be the other free class for everybody that signs up on my website. So, hopefully I can introduce you to some new things and you can learn some new things on there as well.
That's awesome. Yes, we'll Tracy and you straight out. We'll put it because it's not there now because we got mixed up. So that's okay. We will get the right links in the right places, and we will put that up for everybody so that people can access that for you.
We haven't been busy, Heather. We haven't been busy at all. Okay.
And that was confused.com. So that's probably me.
We have someone who got the VIP package. They're having their hip replace surgery coming up, so looking forward to doing a lot of sitting and watching your class during your recovery. Excellent, except they're going to make you want to move on a hip replacement surgery. Someone asked, do you ship to the US?
Yes, definitely. I've got lots of customers in the US actually. So yeah, and I say I try and keep the shipping down as low as possible. So whatever it costs me is the shipping. So I think in my website's in pounds sterling. I think it's £5.50 at the moment for shipping, and you can get quite a lot in a box. I'll try and keep everything small so it fits in a nice small box.
Or you can help her out and go to the local store and ask them to start carrying your products. So there you go.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the other way. So there's a combination of direct is great, but it's also great to help her get exposure to other people if you go through a store. So that store can bring it in and then other people. So that can be good too. The site's going across the bottom of the screen, Deb. It's going fast. So braveryfox.co.uk. It's also on the welcome page. And it's on the, not on the welcome page. It's on the speakers, meet the speaker page. And it's on the page up for today. So you can go in and click there as well. So lots of places to find it.
I'm curious with the name Bramble Fox. Where did that go?
Oh, that was a bit of a story as well. It was something. It was actually a friend who came up with the name, and we were going to do something completely different at the time. It was someone I worked with. She came up with a name, and I went and bought the website. And we were just going to resell some products, some crafty things that we'd made. And we never did that. So I bought the website, so I might as well use that. It's such a cute name though, isn't it? I love everything foxy now. Here's my fox, look. So we love everything foxy. So I'm really pleased how it turns out. So look at you.
Well, it's unique. I like that.
It's memorable. That's what we all want to be.
Yeah.
And Deb, who says she needs coffee, she just saw it going on the bottom. I need more coffee too, Deb. So I'm on the same page. She was the one who was asking for your website again. It's like going on the screen. She goes, I need more coffee. I need more coffee too. I got that as a coffee drinker. So thank you so much for sharing all of this stuff. You've gone all over really cool ideas for people, including using old books, doing things differently, using stuff for tabs. So thank you so much. We'll give a couple more minutes if there's another question. You do all have access to the videos for today now. If you're a VIP, you have access for the next year. The VIPs, there's an afternoon crop today at 2 p.m. Yes, 2 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. the UK, 11 a.m. on the Pacific Coast. I can do this. And people are sleeping in Australia. And if you're with us from Australia, great. But people will be sleeping from Australia. But we had people, like I said, it's so cool to have people from all over the world. So the 2 p.m. one works for people in Europe and the UK because it'll be 7 or 8 o'clock at night. So we tried to hit every time zone for somebody's awake at some point in time. I have lived and worked time zones most of my career. So that's why I can do these at the top of my head. But it's a challenge. Yes, I lived in Australia for 2 years and I worked all over Asia, and I used to work with people in the UK. So I've lived these time zones. So fun to see you and ask questions. So enjoyed meeting these businesses. The crop was so wonderful last night. Thank you for being there last night. We had a lot of fun last night with the crop. So I'm looking forward to the one today as well. Any other questions you have, we will sort out the free gift and put it on the page, and we're looking forward to it. And our next Q&A live is at 4 o'clock, I believe. I looked it up so I could remember it, and then I'm like,
it's 4 o'clok. You're right.
Yeah, it's at 4 o'clock with Elena, and then we have Cindy at 6:30 tonight Eastern time.
Yes.
And then we have one more day tomorrow, and I think we have 5 lives tomorrow.
Wow.
Yes, we're talking all day.
We're talking all day tomorrow.
So. I'm just listening.
No housework for you then.
Yes, no. We'll be watching your presentation afterwards. So thank you. Thank you for coming to the Q&A, ladies. We will be in the group answering questions. Have a great day, and we will see you later today. Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for coming.